What is up, guys? We are here today with Ryan in his 1990 Nissan Skyline GTR, the original Godzilla car. Now, I'm going to have Ryan kind of give you a little bit of an overview about the car and talk a little bit about what's done to it.
Alright, so this is a 1990, like you said. Not much has been done to it. Right now it's just got coilovers, intake, exhaust, a couple extra sway bars that I don't think came with it, the turbo timer, and then going forward, I only had this car for about 6 months, so I haven't gotten through a lot of the little nitpicks. There's a little touches here and there at every little car that's 25 years old, I'm sure has, but I'll get around to them. But otherwise, it's going to be a pretty stock car. Just want to keep it as a grand touring car / car I can bring to the track and to the autocross and car shows and keep presentable.
So was this always like a childhood dream car of yours?
So I'm a stereotypical millennial. I grew up playing Gran Turismo. I played a lot more of it than most people, I think, and especially in the high school days. So with Gran Turismo 2, there was always Skylines in there, and we started with the R34. That's the go-to Skyline to love, and after that you get an appreciation and reeled it in with this car. So this car just has the muscular looks that I enjoy, the boxy fender flares and that classic 80s style. So always a childhood dream car, and finally got the right the stars aligned to finally be able to own it.
So you just drove this car to Connecticut from Michigan. How was that?
So I picked this up back in December, and I drove that from Omaha to Michigan, and then I had the turbos rebuilt because one of them seized, and then so I drove it back because my family is visiting out over here in Connecticut, so I gave it another test and tune, and it survived so far, and we'll hopefully can bring it back. But so far it's doing super well. It drives like any old Nissan, super reliable, super smooth. Really good.
So this is going to open up a little bit right here if you want to, after this bend, if you want to give it a little squeeze for everybody. Love that smoothness of the inline six.
Oh my god, it's a riot. And we're breaking all sorts of speed limits.
It moves pretty good for an old Japanese car.
You know, for 25 years old, this thing like scoots like it was off the showroom floor. Like, I'm just so impressed with it overall. And like we just heard, like it just makes awesome noises above $4 grand. Gotta love it.
Nice torque, and I've always been a fan of the RB. I think that's one of the more special production engines that come out of Japan. You know,
the 2JZ gets a lot of street cred, and it's much earned. But this is a very, very close runner-up, and it's just a riot. It sounds good, it holds power, and for a street car, like, you couldn't ask for a better setup.
Plus, I think there's something to be said about a car that comes from the factory with individual throttle bodies. That's pretty sweet too.
Yeah, that's what helps make it sound so glorious at speed. It's just, you have that instant throttle response. You have it from the factory, which is just rare to begin with, and it sounds amazing. Can't get over it. Can't get enough of it.
So what's the curb weight on this car stock?
I want to say it's around 3,200 pounds. So with us in it, we're looking at 35.
Yeah, so a little bit more brawny, a little bit more muscular.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the heavyweights in this class of like the old Japanese supercars, but you know, it holds its own. And like Initial D always made fun of it for chewing up the tires, and I mean, it makes sense. There's only 225s down there, so with modern cars with this weight, they're getting a lot wider tires, you're getting bigger wheels to handle all that weight, and it just wasn't available back then. So I think a future upgrade would be like a 17x9 with a 245, 255, but for now they're the 16x8s with the 225.
You know, just sitting here in the passenger seat, the car is kind of cruising along pretty nicely. It's not a jarring ride by any means, and I haven't felt the wheel yet, but I mean it looks like there's not a lot of slop in the steering, and it's pretty direct. And
you know, this gauge cluster says it's only got 77,000 kilometers, which is just under 50,000 miles, and it definitely feels like it has that much mileage on it. It does. If everything feels really tight, it does have the Bridgestone coilovers on it. They handle really well so far. And they handle the roads like at street speeds very well. It only gets really choppy when you're on really bad Michigan roads. But on a nice road like this one, where it's like freshly paved and really smooth, couldn't ask for a better setup. For a coilover anyways, it's unheard of.
Very nice. All right. Oh man, this is gonna be weird. This car come. First movement in a right-hand drive vehicle, and I'm pulling a U-turn. That's interesting.
On the wrong side too. That's the other one. The other window.
What's that? Oh, sorry. There we go. I'm a mess.
Get over.
All right, fellas. So we are out. We just did a Chinese fire drill here. Now this is my first time driving a right-hand drive vehicle and a R32 Skyline. Very smooth, the inline six out of this. That RB26 is a fantastic engine. I'm not going to go crazy in the car because this is Ryan's beloved dream car, and I have to say it is a little bit awkward doing the right-hand drive thing, but since this is such a unique and opportune moment, let's just enjoy the spirited drive, and I'll kind of relay and try to relate this to the cars that I have. So first impressions hopping into it, this is Japanese car all the way, and I love that. I've always loved Japanese cars because everything just feels super intuitive. They don't feel like clumsy or more work to operate. Even the gearbox is very smooth to roll. The shifting, I mean the steering is not too heavy, but it's just weighted just almost perfectly like most Japanese hydraulic racks are. Gas, clutch pedal, everything's nicely laid out. Good visibility. I have to watch my going over the double yellow here because I'm on the wrong side of the road, and wow, that is just something. Trying to shift with your left hand, it's almost like trying to write your name with your left hand, if you've ever done that, where it's very sloppy. But yeah, this is a cool car. I've always been a fan of the R32 Skylines, and I would almost argue that the R32 is my favorite body styling out of all of them. Just the more muscular, wider arches in the rear. It kind of has like that old school like DTM, like E30 M3 like race car look to it, and I just think it flows well. And when we had this car in the driveway, and I was just kind of looking at it, taking it all in, and admiring the lines on it, it's definitely a thing of beauty in its own right. You know, it's a timeless look, and I think some of that went away on the later generation Skylines, but very neat. So, like I said, steering feels nice. You can really feel that this is an individual throttle body car. Throttle tip-in is very sensitive and immediate, even though the application's turbocharged, and I love that. That's really fantastic. The shifting is a little bit definitely gonna have to get used to it, but I'm gonna do a little bit of braking while this guy's in front of us here. Very solid on the brake pedal. This is ABS?
I think so. It does have a unit. I haven't tested out its limits yet. I will caution that the brakes and tires aren't the best. So
yeah, I felt them like kind of starting to lock up a little bit, but if they're old whatever tires, then that's to be expected. Yeah,
that's another probably end of year upgrade, and I got hawk pads coming in the mail this week. So,
but no, it's just and you know what? I will say for the seating position in this car is being a stock older Japanese 90s car. It's pretty good. You're not terribly high up. I find myself in a lot of Japanese cars, I wish I was sitting a little bit lower. I have more than substantial headroom in this car, and the seats are very well bolstered for a factory seat. And this is like, I don't know what kind of material is this. It's like a coarse cloth.
Yeah, it's a typical like early 90s Japanese cloth. It's not like a full cloth interior from like a base car, but it's definitely some up-level firmer material. It's they're pretty nice and impressive for a factory seat, and they look the part. They match the interior styling well, and the side bolstering on them is actually like really nice. I'm gonna slide in and make a comment and say for taller drivers, I'm 6'2", and I fit in here with a helmet on. So that was one of the deal breakers for this. If I couldn't fit in this with a helmet on comfortably, then this would have been a bad purchase. But
so I'm going to reiterate what Ryan just said, just in case my lapel mic is not picking it up. But Ryan is 6'2", and he says that he could fit in this car with a helmet on, and he has plenty of head clearance. And that was a make it or break it bargaining part of the car for him, is that whether or not he would fit in here with a helmet on for track days, and he does. So there's definitely something to be said about that, because there's a lot of drivers that are 6'2" that wouldn't be able to fit in a lot of other Japanese cars. So that's definitely something that's pretty impressive. Man, this guy's killing me. Yeah, we may have to take it up a notch. I'm just gonna slow down here a little bit. Maybe I'll do a second gear around this after we get around this turn. Feel the RB26 in all of its greatness. It's even got, this is Alcantara in the inserts here.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
that feels like old school Alcantara, man. That's definitely pretty impressive.
You have to keep in mind, this competed on the same price scale as the Corvette. Like, This is an up-level vehicle.
Yep.
Through and through.
Oh yeah.
It's falling off a little bit, so just pretend it's not doing that.
All right, so I'm gonna get into it here on second gear, mind my shifting. Oh yeah. Right up to 7,000, very nice. Very nice power plant, especially for something coming right out of the 90s. This is pretty fast for a 90s sports car. And especially being so mildly tuned. I mean, you guys saw we slowed down quite a bit and gave this guy plenty of breathing room, and a second through fourth gear pull with very, very mellow shifting, so I didn't miss any gates, and this thing just caught right back up. I actually like the stock steering wheel too. It's there's no airbag in it, and it's like a beefier 3-spoke, and it looks nice, but it fits the hands nicely. A lot of steering wheels are not this beefy out of the factory, and it's got a nice juiciness to it. The front tires, I can feel translation for like what's going on at the front, especially under braking. These aren't the grippiest tires, as Ryan said, so when you're kind of slowing down a little bit faster, you could feel where they're starting to let up a little bit, but it all translates right through the wheel. Very raw, very communicative, and just kind of everything that old school Japanese cars are known for, and what I love about them. It's definitely a wild ride. I keep finding myself drifting over to the double yellow because I'm just not used to driving on the right side of the car. It's really throwing me off.
I did that too. It's like caution to the right.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience. I'm sure people look at this like, what is going on? Did you ever take it through a drive-through yet?
I have not. I really want to take it in reverse just because everyone does that. But I don't get takeout very much, so
yeah.
I usually just go in at this point.
I wouldn't put food in this. Oh man, Malibu or whatever you are just killing this ride. Well, while we have the opportunity to talk a little bit more, so what coilovers are these?
These are Bridgestone.
Bridgestone coilovers. That just sounds old school. I don't even know when Bridgestone. I don't even remember when Bridgestone was making coilovers.
You have to go online and find like a special PDF of Bridgestone. It's like, oh yeah, they did make those.
Oh man, so Bridgestone coilovers, but you could feel where like this is definitely like more old school valving. Suspension valving has definitely come a long ways, but even so, it doesn't. The chassis itself doesn't translate too much harshness up through the cabin.
No.
And I think that's pretty impressive, especially for a car that's this old, and like interior plastic squeak is very mild. I heard a little bit at one point, but like most of my old Japanese cars squeak. I think that's just kind of the nature of the beast there. But you can really feel how the intentions for this car was to be Grand Touring-esque, and it's pretty neat. It's impressive. I dig the gauges here.
Those are factory.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
They don't work the greatest because they're electronic, and I'm hoping to get a regular boost gauge that's vacuum operated in here soon, maybe later this year.
It's funny because I'm not pushing Ryan's car to like put it in any like big slip angle or yaw, but when you feel the yaw start to happen a little bit, it really feels like a rear-wheel drive car out the back. It's not when does the all-wheel drive really start to engage?
Pretty much when you're going straight. Like it'll catch you at a very slight angle, like when you're like really finishing out the turn.
Yep.
But other than that, it's a rear drive car, and I'll caution again, the tires are shitty.
Yeah, no, I can feel them, and it's honestly it's fun. I think this is great because it's really, cars in the 90s, the tire technology back then. I mean, these things freaking moved around, and like.
Yeah, we were commenting about that earlier. Like we want low grip tires just so we can have some more fun with it.
Yeah, like these modern tires are so grippy. They're like grippier than the old race tires for back in the day. I love watching vintage racing. I'm calling it vintage, right? Like racing from the 90s because. Where the tire technology was at, I mean, the cars moved around. you know, and
drift was a very real thing.
yeah, and like and I felt like the racing was just always so exciting to watch because like part of like trying to pass like in the corners, I mean, they're fighting oversteer and like, you know, just kind of correcting the car, and to me that's more exciting. You watch the modern cars and everything's very drama free. They're not really meant to get that out of shape and slip angles now. I mean, a lot of the modern race cars, they have formula style 2-spoke steering wheels because they're not meant for big corrections or big slip angles, you know. And like, maybe I'm just turning into an old fart, but like that kind of makes me sad a little bit.
You know, it's a different clientele, but for us that know how to, like, at least the basics of how physics and driving work, like, you can contain it, so you can get away with like a higher slip tire.
Yep. So up here is my one of my favorite little sections, and I'm hoping that we get a clearing. Just kind of feel the car out. I could probably keep it, the gearing, the way this is geared, I could probably stay in third for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a
little bit longer gear, but the motor has the torque to kind of make it go at lower RPM, and that's nice too.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
But yeah, the shifting is killing me. I'm like, every time I go, it's like there's like a light bulb that goes off in my head. It's like, okay, you have to do this now, like, and like I really have to like think about what I'm doing.
Yeah, I told my girlfriend, like, you know,
I'm not even
if I don't
signaling
talk for a little bit, it's because I'm really concentrating on driving.
All right, so here's the section. We'll go easy. Man, it moves pretty good. That's very impressive for a relatively stock engine. So this is a little bit bumpy right here. I always say this in my videos. The car's bumped, and this is no exception. It kind of hops a little bit over that. Don't worry, I'll go easy here.
Yeah, I don't know what to this car.
Yeah, but you know what though? I mean, this is very.
All right.
I can feel everything that's going on right now. It's not doing anything weird. It's very communicative. And I drive this road every day from work, so I know it pretty well. Yeah, I mean, this is nice car, man. Like, I'm a little bit Skyline envy here.
Oh man, sorry, I'm being a giant bitch here.
No, you know what? I'm a terrible passenger, and like. Everything feels so much different in the passenger
seat.
seat.
I'm on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
I know you're a really good race driver, but it's good. It's the dream car. So.
Yeah, my rule is like.
And it's like the tires. I really don't trust these tires, but they're pretty good.
You know what though? In a way, see, you don't trust the tires because they don't have high limits, and it's clear, like they don't have terribly high limits, but that makes this easier to drive and exploit a little bit. So I was letting it yaw. Get a little bit of like slip angle starting to happen there, a little bit of yaw, and it was very easy to find that limit because of the lack of grip in the tires, and it didn't it wasn't like I didn't have to go scary fast, and that goes back to like my gripe with a lot of the modern tires is that there's so much grip in them, and that if you want to like exploit a car and feel heroic, like you took it to the limits and tamed it, you have to go that much faster. And because you have that much more grip and momentum and speed, when they do break away, it's more violent. So like I love lower grip tires. Like the lower grip tires like provide enough grip to certainly have fun and like to play around, you know, but.
No, it's very well said, and I kept snow tires on my GTI for that reason. Because it would slip so easily.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said about having a tire like that you can enjoy the car. I mean, you know, these are street cars at the end of the day, and let's face it, the majority of driving we do is on the street. And, you know, I'm a big advocate for having good street etiquette and really being not putting yourself in a position that's gonna cause harm to yourself or others. So it's always keeping like a 7/10, 8/10 pace. You leave room on the table for error. You know, and you don't cross double yellows. You just really, I mean, I say don't cross double yellows, and I've probably been on the double yellow a little bit in this, but that's just because
you're good. I'm just being a baby.
Oh, but you know what I mean? Like to me, that's very important. Every time
I'm scared of my own car. That's a thing to be said.
Every time I see like videos of people driving and doing like going over the double yellow, like it just kills me because a head-on incident is a death. it's a deathly situation even at like 25 miles an hour, and it's just not worth the risk, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think you could be smart about it. I can't say don't ever do it, because let's face it, you buy the car, it's a street-driven car, and you're going to drive it on the street. But like, at least I think you could take all the precautions to be safe about it.
How'd you enjoy the turn-in?
The turn-in feels good. This feels like it has a little bit of toe-in at the front. It's not too darty or anything like that. I didn't like really try to like dive it into a corner. But if you want, there's a little section up here. It's a little bit tighter, so I'll try to nose it in a little bit and see how it goes. I mean, I'm assuming this probably rotates pretty good on brakes, and when you tuck the nose in.
It does and doesn't. Like you said, it's got a little bit of slip in the front.
Okay.
There's a little nose heavy.
These are square tires.
They're 225s on 8s.
But it's square fitment, no stagger.
Yeah,
okay,
no
so square fitment.
And there is a rear steering that's still hooked up.
So you still got the rear steering in place. Okay. Now, not having driven a car, or actually I drove that, the 991 GT3 had rear steering, which I'm sure was a much different system than this. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of be a little bit more. It feels like it points in. It could use a little bit more grip at the front, but not bad.
All right, you're good, man.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's the end.
No, I mean, like, you're a good driver. Like,
oh! I thought you were saying like you're good, you're done.
If I could get to that level of driving, I'll be happy with this car.
You know, maybe I should talk about it one of these days. I really studied like Keiichi Tsushiya's driving style, so like a lot of like what you see him doing with the fast hand movements, like that's kind of what I really adopted and like adapted my like counter steering method to was to his driving style. And I kind of hybrid that with a driver that I used to be good friends with. He showed me his way of getting up to speed quickly and safely, and like kind of keeping it there. Like you bring the car up to like where the front starts to push a little bit, and then you can kind of start playing with the balance from there. Either like let off and like try to get some rotation, or feed in gas, and you know, like and just it just helps like get up to speed like quickly and safely. Dude, this car is like, I can already tell by the way this behaves without even like going nuts. Like this car is a riot.
Yeah.
This is a blast of a car to drive.
That's what I got out of it at the autocross on Monday. That was the first time I brought up the speed. And yeah, I have a lot to learn from this car. There's so much that I didn't tap into.
Yeah, you're gonna have a riot with this car. It really is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the track day this weekend.
Oh, track day this weekend.
Yeah, we got a full weekend of
nice.
Gingerman coming up.
Awesome. Well, guys, I'm going to end this off right here. I hope you enjoyed this. Ryan, thank you so much. This is quite the experience.
Yeah, you definitely had a couple brown moments here with my own car. That was good.
Yeah, this is really cool. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, you want to know a little bit about the car, Ryan's a good friend of mine, so I can ask him and relay it back to you. But thank you guys very much for tuning in. Till next time. Done.